If you remained a fan or supporter of Russell Westbrook throughout this past season, I just want to take a quick moment to give you a shout out. It's always easy to support somebody at their highest, but it takes a different type of person to support somebody when things aren't going their way and it seems like the world is against them. Naturally, for Russell Westbrook, adversity wouldn't be anything new. Criticism and doubt is something that he's faced throughout his whole career, regardless of any success. No matter what happens with Westbrook going forward, I'll never forget what he's done. From the boos to the fans telling him not to shoot to the weird disconnect with Frank Vogel. This past season was a mess, not only for Russell Westbrook, but also for the Los Angeles Lakers. But I'm sure at this point you guys are tired of hearing that. And the truth is, I think that we all are. At this point, the Lakers' problems are the Lakers' problems. It's time to focus on what's next and what's the future for Los Angeles going to look like. This video, we have to discuss the Lakers and their plans for Russell Westbrook, and if they even have one. But before we go any further, let's get a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you guys by Squarespace. Squarespace is a unique all-in-one platform for growing your online business and presence. A lot of you guys may not know this, but I used to run a few websites a long time ago. I had to teach myself how to code and all that stuff. It was really kind of hard. I really wish I had Squarespace, because with Squarespace, building an engaging website is as simple as a few clicks. Selling products, content, or whatever has literally never been easier. Squarespace has tons of templates that fill all content types. From galleries to blogs, if you need it, Squarespace has it. Don't judge me for this, but check out this awesome Herb Jones for DPOY website that I was able to build in a matter of minutes. All I had to do was use one of their easy to use templates. Look, I know the Pelicans already got eliminated, but the hope that Herb Jones wins DPOY one day lives on. You're never lost in the sauce with Squarespace. They have all of the tools and analytics that you need to make sure that you're on the right track. If you act now, you'll be able to take advantage of my special offer, which gives you 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All you have to do is use my custom link down in the description below. That's squarespace.com/GetLikeCoop. Once again, that's squarespace.com/GetLikeCoop. I want to give a major shout out to Squarespace for supporting our channel. For starters, I don't want you guys to think that since I support Russell Westbrook that I'm oblivious to his shortcomings. I saw the untimely turnovers, missed dunks, and questionable shot selection. I recognize that last season wasn't his best work, and at times with a lot of his responses, it felt as if he was out of touch with what was being expected of him. Look, I agree that Russell Westbrook was part of the problem, but he wasn't the only problem, and he didn't really create this problem by himself. As bad as a lot of people felt that Russell Westbrook was, he was still relatively healthy for almost the full season. I say it often, but sometimes you're only as good as your availability. Last year's Lakers were a questionable roster that injuries helped to unravel. The questionable coaching didn't help to solve any of the Lakers' problems either. Now, you could argue that Frank Vogel was dealt a bad hand last season, and I would agree. But I'd also agree that he let a lot of what should be wins get away with his coaching. Once the season started going downhill, it felt as if Frank Vogel was coaching to get fired, and that he had completely checked out. I know in a lot of instances, players verbally supported Frank, and there was that whole Rambus thing, but I really do feel like Frank did lose that locker room. The Lakers were way too dysfunctional for me to think otherwise. Their dysfunction really did go far beyond just their basketball product too. I think this season was an eye-opener for a lot of people. It made it clear that the Los Angeles Lakers needed some change. Well, so far that change that I've been referencing is already underway. With the Lakers firing Frank, they'd need to nail their next front office hire, and I think that they did it. Despite reports that stated that the Lakers coaching job wasn't as attractive as the rest of the NBA, the Lakers were able to land a big-time hire with Darvin Ham. For those that don't know Ham, he can command a locker room, something that the Lakers desperately need. And this isn't a shot at Vogel. I think that Vogel was good. He came in and he helped LA to get another championship in what was a short amount of time. To get back to Ham, Giannis called Ham the right fit. He said that he keeps it real with you, no BS at all. That's high praise from one of the best players in the league. Honestly, I'm just happy the Lakers didn't find a way to end up with Doc or Stotts or really any coach that has bounced around the league or already had their share of opportunity. I love to see new first-time head coaches get a chance. And also, I think that former players getting coaching gigs is always fun. Look at what Willie Green did in New Orleans this year. Look at what Ime has done in Boston. Check out Steve Nash in Brooklyn. Look, I didn't say former players getting coaching gigs was always going to be good. I said it was usually fun. The Brooklyn Nets have been a roller coaster, but yet Nash remains one of my favorite point guards to play the game. Honestly, who knows what Nash really is as a coach? How much do you guys blame the Brooklyn Nets struggling on Steve Nash? I'm genuinely just curious. Also, while we're here, let me know what former players you think would make great coaches in the comments below. Sometimes it's really the ones that you least expect. When the Lakers were conducting their coaching search, one thing really stood out to me, and it was this report that the Lakers were asking coaching candidates how they plan to use Russell Westbrook if they were hired. Now, this could have just been the ultimate test question, shout out to David Griffin, or it could have been the Lakers facing the reality that Westbrook may return for another season of excitement. There's also the possibility that this leak was strategic. A few days ago, Mark Stein said that the Lakers are tuning out the skeptics yet again, and insisting to anyone who will listen that they would rather take Russell Westbrook on the roster for the next season than surrender additional assets to convince someone to trade for him. The Lakers are also said to be adamant that they won't release the former MVP and eat his $47.1 million player option for the next season if Westbrook were to pick it up. The quote that I just read you guys comes after reports that the Lakers plan to keep Russell Westbrook, and that he is expected to exercise his $47 million player option for the next season. As of right now, nothing is official, so I think that this is yet again a situation to watch. Here's a reminder that may not mean much, but in my last Westbrook video, he liked an IG comment that stated that he needs to do whatever it takes to leave the Lakers, and that he should even consider retiring if that's what it takes for him to leave LA. Personally, I think that Westbrook wasn't as bad as a lot of people believed last season, and that he has something to build on, averaging 19.1 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 6 assists on 47% in his last 20 games. Now, I know stats aren't everything, but Westbrook's improvement was undeniable. Though I don't think that Westbrook was as bad as many believed, there's also always the potential that he opts in and continues to become more of a nightmare for the Lakers if they're unable to compete with his contract. To this day, I'll say that his contract skews the perception of him. You know what, while we're even relatively here, the ability that maxes and supermaxes have to hamper teams is kind of disgusting. But that's a topic for another video. If you were the Lakers, would you attach a first to trade Westbrook's massive expiring contract if he were to opt in? Remember, LeBron James is one of the greatest players to touch a basketball, and he's not getting any younger. The Lakers are already all in. Would losing another first to make sure you're competitive be the worst thing? I'm not sure, but what I am sure of is that whatever the Lakers decide, it's clear that the pressure is on. Jeannie spoke out saying that I'm growing impatient just because we had the 4th highest payroll in the league. When you spend that kind of money on the luxury tax, you expect to go deep in the playoffs. So yeah, it was gut-wrenching for me to go out on a limb like that and not get the results that we were looking for. I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied. Ham is definitely going to have his work cut out for him. There's this belief that last season it was on Vogel to make the Westbrook stuff work, and they hated how he handled the whole situation. In the comments below, let me know if you believe that, and let me know if you believe in Ham. In my opinion, Ham is the perfect type of coach to get Russell Westbrook building off his second half of last season. If Ham is anything like Quinn Snyder or Taylor Jenkins, who are also a part of the Bud coaching tree, then the Lakers will truly be in good hands. I've read a good bit on Ham, and it seems like the players really love him. He's direct, he communicates, works everybody, and understands the game according to Meta World Peace. Guys, let's just hope that Ham gets the roster that he needs to succeed, regardless of if that roster includes my guy Westbrook or not. Let me know what you guys think of everything down in the comments below. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.